So time to talk about the Brock Lesnar situation.
Oh, I'm so excited for that match after those promos.
So the last time we left off on the situation, it was the Sunday after the Raw where he did not appear. And then the day after, he actually did show up at a show with Heyman, where Heyman dropped that volcanic promo. I mean,
absolutely,
that
the
thing was
unified
incredible.
UFC WWE title. Wow,
it was just so good. I love just work shoot promos. And,
absolutely. Well, because the fans are smart enough nowadays. They see what's going on, but when you can incorporate it into the kayfabe, it's just
great.
Beautiful.
He just did it so
beautiful.
well, and he just had the crowd just eating out of the palm of his hands. But it was great to see Brock at least on TV. And then the following week, which was this past Monday, they had the segment, the pre-tape segment with Brock. So how did you feel about that?
You know what? It really did play to his strengths there, that they never really kept him speaking for a long time. Not just, like I said before in our previous video, Brock Lesnar is a genius when it comes to negotiations, but I guess he's not too comfortable on the mic. But everything he said, they kept it very simple. They kept it very it was very real. It was very real in the sense it was like, you know what, I just want to get paid, show up, kick some ass, and it wasn't anything. He doesn't need anything more than that. Nothing more than that, and it plays into the whole idea of if he's going to go to the UFC or not. All it is to Brock is, I just show up somewhere, kick ass, get paid, leave, come back, do it again.
And I think that's what people were hoping for during this run. Was just, no, he doesn't necessarily have to be in attendance, but if we could get some good vignettes and promos like this, it would be okay. I mean, we would like to see him fight monthly at least, but I thought just when I saw that promo, I'm like, it was damn good. Yeah,
it was even how they pieced the story together. How it was like he sent
The Rock.
Yeah, he sent The Rock to Hollywood.
Then
he ended the streak, and then he sent Cena to the off the main event scene.
Yeah, suplex him to hell or whatever.
Yeah.
It was great. I really enjoyed it. So let's get into what's been coming out lately, and we're recording this on March 19th, which is a Thursday. It looks like there is a very strong possibility that Brock stays on.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of talk going on from different sources I'm hearing about right now, and you know what? It's very consistent with what we're seeing with the US and IC title, right?
Right.
Because you know what? If you build those titles up, having a part-time champion like Brock, it's not really the end of the world if you can have those belts as a main event.
So seeing where that's going and seeing how it looks like Cena will walk out with the US title and Bryan will walk out with the IC title, which we'll discuss, I think, separately.
Absolutely.
Do you now feel more strongly that it might not be Reigns anymore that walks out with that title? Do you think we'll actually see Brock retain and maybe Seth with a failed cash-in, or do you think we actually will see Brock win and they'll just save the Seth cash-in for later? Because Heyman even referred to that in the promo.
Yeah.
He says, we know that it would be easy for you for the authority if Seth was able to capitalize with his money in the bank.
Yeah, even with Rollins has finally been acknowledging it as well.
Exactly,
because
right? He's been saying it.
Yeah, it's getting good, right? So they're really hinting at it.
So what is your prediction now?
My prediction, to be honest with you, it goes back to that constant battle we always hear about between Vince and Triple H. Because what I'm hearing is that Triple H is saying that Brock should keep the belt, considering Reigns is not the fans. It's not working for the fans. The fans are not the only possible way Reigns can carry that belt, and he has to go heel. That's the only possible way because the fans are not loving it. So I really do think Brock is going to keep that belt, and you know what? I can see. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen I would love it if Rollins cashes in. Is it too soon after the whole picture fiasco for him to win the belt? Who knows? But even if we won the belt at WrestleMania, you create the opportunity for a really good rematch with Rollins versus Lesnar one-on-one, no other parties. And end of the day, if Brock takes the belt back or whatever happens from there, Rollins is going to be around for a long time.
Or do you think that they'll do a wait-and-see approach and have Lesnar win and then really map it out from there with Rollins? Because they don't have to burn Rollins cashing in.
That's true, because it's silly, not...
And I guess when we really think about it, if they're not going to make Reigns the guy and Brock wins, why just pass that over to Seth? Let Seth chase it and tease. And
when is Money in the Bank again? I can't remember. June. Is that June? Okay, yeah. So they have
July. Sorry, it should be July because June's like Battleground or whatever.
Yeah. They have a fair amount of time to play around with this. So who knows? Even it was something I think you mentioned in our last podcast that it, like, you know, Rollins having the case is kind of like a trump card. That, you know what, if it doesn't, whatever their plan is, that's kind of like their quick fix. Bring Rollins in. So you could be right in that sense that maybe they might not cash in, or who knows, maybe it might be a failed cash in. Right?
I think, yeah. And
what do you think?
I think it's time we start seeing some failed cash ins.
Yeah.
I think we should see a streak. Like, again, we've only seen Mizdow lose and Cena lose by DQ.
Yeah.
After that, I can't remember what was a failed cash in. So I think it's time we do see some failed cash ins, but I don't know if it should be Seth, because Seth has been so great.
Oh yeah,
he's been such a great heel that
you're a great heel when you can turn your home state against you,
and that's what I want to talk about.
Holy crap!
Maybe we'll just make this a blended a podcast. Maybe we'll make this Brock Lesnar, Reigns, and maybe a Seth situation.
Let's do it.
Let's do that, because I think it's all jumps together.
Yeah,
it's all together. So
because Randy Rollins is going to be a great match, but there's no long term to that.
So for that, let's get Seth into this combo. We'll make this about the world title scene then.
Yeah.
Seth, when he came out and was getting those cheers, I'm like, what is he gonna do? And it was great. I love when a heel acknowledges it right away.
Yeah.
And then just craps on the city.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like? I was the first person to leave this town. Beautiful.
It was just amazing. I'm like, he turned them with one line. That's a good heel.
Yeah.
And it was more great for me because I'm tired of them just trying to find a way to get a guy to just accept it. They always just accept a heel getting cheered in the city. They do that with Barrett. They did it with Punk.
Yeah.
You know, if these guys are heels, they have to turn on their cities.
It's true.
Their cities will understand why. They're smart enough to know that
yeah.
They don't mean it, right? But in a kayfabe standpoint, you can't have that guy getting cheered.
Yeah, that was beautiful how.
And it was just great how he did it so quick. I was like, that's awesome. And that's the only reason why I don't want to see there be a failed cash in.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them wait as long as they can if they're going to have Reigns carry the title for a bit. You know, if Seth has to lose, maybe have him cash in where it's like some triple threat. He loses it without getting pinned, maybe, or something like that. I don't think he should lose, but I think that there should be a string of failed cash-ins. I know it kind of goes against what I'm saying, but Seth just deserves it. He's just been phenomenal. So as far as my prediction, I think I'm hoping that Brock wins, but now I'm starting to think that that's a cop-out for the WWE. The same way last year was a cop-out with them putting Bryan in it. I want them to really see that their storylines don't work. And and what they're doing is inconsistent. And what they did for Reigns didn't work for him. And it's not just his fault. Like, we don't like... True. Yeah, we kind of talk about how we don't like him. I might say I don't like him, but it's not him.
It's the idea of him being forced down.
It's the idea of how they did it, and they need to ride this out. They need to have Reigns win clean, and deal with that consequence. Not pussyfoot out of it and be like, oh, you know what? We're gonna have Brock win because Brock's gonna say, no, you guys put us through 3 months of garbage, terrible promos by this guy. You had Daniel Bryan put him over and job clean.
Yeah.
You had him destroy Mark Henry on SmackDown, and I was going to save this for another rant, and I'm still going to do the rant separately. But you
waiting to hear this.
You had Henry get attacked, barely even provoked him on SmackDown,
and love him off afterwards.
And then love him off a week later.
Boy, that kid is strong.
Yeah,
or whatever the hell he said. That was terrible.
That should not be the way Reigns earned Henry's respect. He should have earned his respect by beating him on SmackDown
one-on-one in an actual match.
In a match.
Absolutely.
He should not have Superman punched him because he pushed him against the ropes. Spear him after. The Superman punch I thought was enough, but no.
Let's spear him through the barricade.
And that's what gets Henry's respect. Not him beating him.
Yeah.
Him essentially, and then cheap-shotting him.
Even the worst part was, I think you pointed out to me, we were talking about it on BBM, and it was... They did, the commentators didn't even acknowledge that was his big return.
They didn't.
It was all about Reigns.
They really had that Reign train going. Like, they didn't even acknowledge Mark Henry. You had King saying something like, well, "What's he doing here?" And I don't know if I feel comfortable, with the mood Roman Reigns is in. Who gives a shit about Roman Reigns' mood? This is Mark Henry. He shouldn't care. He puts people in the Hall of Pain.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, when he does hit the Superman punch and the spear, Cole is selling it like he made some miraculous comeback. Like Henry attacked him and he was defending himself. If this was a heel that did that, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah,
I've never seen them spin something the way it was. It just felt like Vince McMahon was yelling at that through that headset.
Absolutely.
From the gorilla position to sell the hell out of that moment. Yeah. And I meant to say this back on the last time we talked about this and the Raw where Booker T kept repeating, "Is he ready? Is he ready now?
Yeah,
is he ready?" It's like,
I was surprised you didn't rip into that, man.
That was not Booker T. That was Booker T being yelled at through his headset.
Absolutely.
With McMahon saying, "Why is he ready yet?" And that's pretty much just Booker T repeating.
Yeah, you could hear Vince. Bad. You could hear Vince in that piece there, right? Like you can hear Vince actually saying that.
It could, and it was just so silly. But I don't know, with this main event title scene, I really hope it's not things getting through the the quote unquote dirt sheets to really confuse us, and then Reigns ends up beating Brock clean as a whistle in like 17 seconds or something.
Well, it's it goes at least. It's like the same thing with Bryan, really, where Bryan was brought in at Fastlane, and people actually thought. Maybe, like, we were watching it, we were like, maybe, just maybe, Bryan might actually win it. Just halfway through, you realize.
And again, you're so torn because you want it to happen for your own well-being, but then you realize that that's not going to help. That they need to see.
No, they really have to deal with their mistake. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I hate it. Like if you're gonna put me through, not put me through life, it's like it's affected my life.
Yeah.
If you're gonna,
they're just doing this just to mess with you,
Mikey. But we're still but we're still tuning in to minimum 3 hours a week of wrestling, which is a lot for Raw.
More than
another
that.
2 hours.
Yeah,
I'm saying minimum.
Yeah.
2 hours of SmackDown and a pay-per-view. If you're going to put us through some of this stuff and make us sort of give you the benefit of doubt, you need to ride it out. You can't have book Reigns the way you did and then just say, you know what, now we're just going to pull the trigger. And that's why I'm torn on this whole thing.
Yeah, it's like you only can do the pivot once, not 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious. If Reigns does win, I can't wait to see the reaction. I can't wait to see the Raw the next day. If Brock wins, then I hope they use him differently. And I guess that will tie into our mid-card title podcast I will do separately, because if he does win, we know we're not going to see him on TV. And that's where Bryan and Cena will probably have to really take those mid-card titles. And that's where I'm kind of bothered by all this, because it shouldn't be one or the other. It shouldn't be Brock gets the title or retains the title, and then now the U.S. title and IC title have more importance. It should be where if Brock's not on TV, then you treat the IC title and U.S. had the way you always been, because what happens when you do have a consistent champion, world champion, is the U.S. title and IC title going to suddenly mean squat again?
They should just keep the whole idea of someone wearing the belt is let's put that value back in, even if it is a part-time or full-time champion, because then you actually have interesting matches. You don't have these random matches with no meaning every single week, or guys wrestling each other the same like every single Raw and nothing ends up coming of it. Like, it's just. Like, I really do think rather not whether it's Reigns, Lesnar, or Rollins, they think the whole IC US title thing has to happen either way. We're going to go into more detail.
Yeah, so we're going to deal with
sidetracking.
We're going to deal with that.
We all know I'm the king of sidetracking.
I led into that, but it's just so much now that's tied in together. So.
No, it's true. Everything's really integrated right now, and it actually I like it. It's really interesting.
It gives everything more importance. Okay, so your final prediction is Brock wins and Seth tries to catch in, or Brock. Okay, does Seth cash in successfully then?
For some reason, I don't think he's gonna do it. It's God.
I told you it's tough now.
It's so tough now. It's because it's so close, and I would love to see him cash in, and
I'm gonna go with
cash in, and then lead to a rematch between him and Brock 1-on-1. No cheating, none because the whole idea is if Reigns beats the hell out, gives Brock a tough match, and he's completely crawling in the ring, Rollins comes in, does the curb stomp, gets the pin, and like that forces that idea.
Can you cash in the middle of a match though?
Not in the middle of the match. It's like when the match would end. So like imagine.
So who do you think wins that part?
I was gonna say Brock wins that part. Like so, imagine Brock like wins and he's completely crawling. All of a sudden, you hear Seth's music come out. Has the case, has a referee with him, makes it happen.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Then you create the ability to have a next match, next pay-per-view, right?
So I have 3 situations I want to see happen.
Yeah.
I want to see, number 1, Reigns win clean, not because I want him to, but to see them ride it out. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I would want to see Brock win clean and Seth tease a cash in so that we know.
Okay.
So that we know, but Brock leaves clean with Heyman and that's all good. Mm-hmm. The third one's a little bit different. What I would like to see is Brock and Reigns put on a decent enough showing. It gets really tense, and you can kind of see the uncertainty of Paul Heyman ringside. And mind you, they've built up the connection with the family.
I like where this is going.
And you see Heyman concerned for Brock, but you kind of see him thinking like, man, this kid might do it.
Yeah.
You see the uncertainty, basically.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is that's where Heyman turns on Brock and tries to assist Reigns. Mm-hmm. But what ends up happening is, and it's kind of a dusty finish, so I know it won't work and people won't like it, but something happens on the outside where, let's say, Reigns spears Brock through the steel steps or something, and they're both out of commission, right? Mm. And somehow Brock pulls himself into the ring at 9.5 and wins by countout. So everyone's pissed, right? Mm-hmm. Or not pissed, maybe they're happy that Reigns didn't win.
Yeah.
But then this is when Heyman looks at Reigns, hands him that chair, and he just pulverizes the hell out of Brock. Mm-hmm. Just continuously. And leaves. He leaves to boos. Brock's done, but retains or whatever. Yeah. And that's when you cue Seth's music. And he comes out, and he just curb stomps Brock like 4 times on that damn steel chair, and pins him clean.
That's beautiful.
So now you have Reigns. You still kind of protected Reigns, but he lost. Mm-hmm. Now he can go on his little heel tangent with Heyman. Mm-hmm. You have Brock, who's going to get cheered.
Absolutely.
Who can now be a face.
Yep.
And you have Seth now as a heel champ who we know will do well.
Yep.
That's my sort of left field scenario that I would kind of like to see happen quite a bit.
Celebration if that actually happens.
Because all 3 guys are protected. Brock had to lose by getting absolutely pulverized and multiple curb stomps. Yeah. Reigns didn't lose with a F5, and Seth leaves a champion, and the Money in the Bank's out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my last third scenario. So any of those I'd be cool with, but from a spiteful standpoint, I just want them to deal with the consequences of Reigns winning. And seeing how they can work that.
Yeah, even it's great. It seems like we're really close to closing. But one thing, what about those shirts and this whole angle they're trying to do?
Oh, that's right. Believe that.
Oh, not even just to believe that.
What does the shirt say? Again?
I can, I will.
I can. It's just so bad.
It's like yes, I can.
And that's
like
why
it's
And that's why I think this guy has to go heel. And then I read online, like today I was reading online, and everyone's like, "Oh, you guys just want Roman Reigns to turn heel so you can cheer him." And it's like, or that you can like them. And it's like, okay, there are guys that are like that. They want to go against the grain, and they want every guy to turn heel so they have reason to cheer them because they like cheering heels. Mm-hmm. But not all of us are like that. If you follow this guy's story arc, it only makes sense that he turned heel. He talks about not caring about the fans. He hasn't had great reactions. Yeah. He pointed to the fans on Monday.
Fans interrupt him in front of him in middle of segments. He
pointed to the fans on Monday like, I don't care what they say, and he points behind them.
Yeah.
He's getting the "you can't wrestle" chance. Yeah. It only makes sense from a storyline kayfabe standpoint. This is me not in my fantasy world wanting him to turn heel.
No. And then the great thing with this,
and then you have the Heyman stuff.
And then the cool thing with this is that it's Reigns is going to be that guy that's always going to be around in the long run. So is Rollins. But at least if they do this is a good way to build up Reigns for the next possibility.
And I guess the only issue with Reigns being heel and Rollins being heel is you have 2 heels. But when you have a face Bryan and a face Brock, well, Bryan will be next. But a face Brock chasing those 2 guys, I mean, how do you go wrong? Of course, Reigns is going to want the title. Maybe he steps back for a bit and reassess, or he has a different type of a mission. And I was telling you before we recorded this, the Chris Cyborg from MMA, the female fighter who said that line about, I don't want your title, I want your soul. That was, I think, in the paper today or yesterday or whatever. And I just love that line. I wish that was something that Roman said. And I could see that being the spinoff for him having that sort of, you know what, screw the title. I'm just here to prove that I can beat everybody.
Yeah.
And if I get the title on the way, great. But it's almost like him against the world.
Yeah.
While
that's a good angle for him. Because
while Reigns is enjoying his title run and his lavish life with the Authority, and Brock's just trying to get his belt back, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that could work. I know it's always tough with two heels involved, but you know, if I don't really have the faith in the WWE to even make this whole situation work, so I don't know. So I guess I don't really have an official prediction. I think what will happen is if Brock's staying, I think he'll go over. I do. Because you just can't have WrestleMania end that way with the way it's shaping up. No,
you can't. Like Royal Rumble is one thing for booze. You can't have that two big events in a row.
I mean, the only way I could see them doing that is if Reigns wins and they don't have Brock show up the next night, and they just, he stays on, but he's not used right away. And that would defeat the whole purpose. It's Brock. You got to use him.
If he has if he's a part-time wrestler, you may as well have a belt on him, and everything else looks like it's structuring around that.
But I am a little bit more excited though than I was before.
Oh, absolutely!
Because now if there's a chance of him staying.
Well, I think we're calling this to be very similar to that. You know, what I mean, what was it? Goldberg versus Brock. Like it was going to be that match of these two hyped up guys, and then all of a sudden it's just it's a dud, right? But now it just. Yeah. I'm a little bit more optimistic about it right now.
Because there's always that X factor, the Money in the Bank.
That makes it interesting to me, and then also the fact, the Heyman factor, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's even something that I've read online, that, you know what, that they even said that they wish there was some sort of, like a third man to help create the storyline, or create the story in the ring. And who knows, Heyman could be that guy to some degree. Not as like a special guest referee, as one source was saying, but like it's going to be interesting to see where Heyman lies.
Yeah. And they've planted that great, or Heyman at least has planted it great.
Yeah.
It's going to be so funny because it's going to be a match that I'm not going to care to watch.
Mm-hmm. You want to see how it's
I don't think how it's going to end.
Yeah,
I just know what's going to happen at the 19.5-minute mark. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be like, okay, wait. Who went? Just get me to the end and let's see what happens. So.
Yeah, like I think I'm going to be on the edge of my seat till the screen completely goes off and it's done. Like it's
once 10:43 starts approaching, then I'll just be getting anxious to see how the show goes off the air. And I'm just, I guess, if it ends with Reigns and just confetti, then I just can't wait for Raw the next day to watch him come out for his coronation
and get buried alive,
buried by the international crowd that'll be there in San Jose. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think.
Please jump in on this.
Definitely want to know your opinions. I know everyone has different opinions. Obviously, we have, because we went 20+ minutes on this.
Yeah, it's our longest one, I think. Yeah.
But it's just so it's become very intriguing now. So like, subscribe, comment, tweet us, Kayfabe6ix on Twitter, and give us that feedback. Let us know.
Jump in on the discussion. We really want to hear it.
For sure. Take care.
All right. See ya.